Your personal belongings are your personal responsibility. Monitor your luggage at all times.
Hello everyone, welcome. My name is Adam J. Pestridge and this is Star Citizen. This is a beginner's guide to Star Citizen from a beginner's point of view. I've only been playing this game for like 7 days. I am relatively new myself. I haven't actually done like a proper campaign in this. I haven't even loaded up Squadron 42. I'll get into what that is in a moment. So I'm relatively a newbie myself, but I have learned so much in the past week about this game. And one thing that I found when I first was getting into it was that it was super frustrating. It was super confusing, and not because it's in an alpha state. This game has been in development for over 6 years, and I'll get into that in a second, but mainly because nothing is really explained that well. There's no proper tutorial. There's no walkthrough guide to how to do certain things. You're kind of left up to your own devices, and possibly because it's an alpha, when it moves into the final version, maybe it will have added more function for tutorial in a way of that. So as I said before, this is an alpha game. I mean, I personally don't consider it a game. This is like a universe simulator, okay? Or a universe screenshot simulator. But yeah, it's in an alpha. It's been in this state for just coming up to 6 years now. So there's a lot of glitches and bugs that are still being ironed out. It's due to move into its beta state within the next 2 years, and then final release as a massive question mark. Nobody knows when. So don't come into this expecting to play a game. Okay, you need to come into the mindset of this with, I am going to experience problems and just move on. And please do not play the game. Do not like use this alpha and sort of get attached to everything you're using within the alpha, because more likely than not, when it moves into beta, anything that in-game you've purchased, unless the developers have stated otherwise, you have no rights to keep, really. In fact, you have no rights to even move into the beta freely, because you are pledging to get the alpha, okay? Remember, this isn't an alpha state. This isn't a final game to play. A lot of people make the mistake of using the Star Citizen Alpha as a game and try and play it like a game. You know, try and do the missions, try and rack up money and buy ships and just treat it like they're playing a game, and then get super frustrated when there are server crashes or there's glitches or there's clipping issues, and then they start venting this into the forums, and it's like, well, just remember, you're actually a tester. You're not a gamer, okay? And that's one thing to bear in mind as well. Nobody explained any of this to me when I first came in, until I hit the Facebook forums after I'd purchased it, and then people were saying, just remember it's an alpha, just remember it's an alpha, and I soon learned what that meant. So please don't come into this thinking, oh, I'm going to be playing the best space game ever. That's not going to happen until the final release. Now, with saying all that, this is the best space game ever, okay? Even in its alpha state, it is so beautifully gorgeous to play, to use, to experience. It's a screenshot simulator for me more than anything. And you'll see exactly why later on. Now, this might be a two-parter video, okay? This is your easy 101 guide, okay, to walking you through the setup from, you know, the website all the way into getting in the game and giving you the basics of how to explore and play the game yourself with some key core rudimentary knowledge, okay? So let's get straight into it. Now, in the link of all my Star Citizen videos, there is a link to the website. If you actually go to the main page of the robertspaceindustries.com website, this is the front page it'll take you to. And you will be like, whoa, this is okay. And, you know, it has 4 different things it could be showing you depending on, you know, when you arrive. So it'll be one of them 4. But scrolling down, you can see how many people have actually, you know, bought and stepped into this universe, and over 2.7 million people. That's quite a lot of players. Squadron 42, I'm going to get into that a little later on. This could be a two-parter video. We'll see how it goes. Scrolling down, it's just literally dev news, information about the future, their roadmap. I mean, this stuff does not bear anything on you at the moment. It's just literally news feeds. And that is pretty much it for this website. If you weren't very clear on like where's the downloads button? Okay, it's not here. Okay, if you click this fly now or the link on any one of my videos, you will come to this page here. This is basically how you get into the game. What you're initially looking for is the download, aren't you? But you won't get that until you actually purchase or pledge, and there's a massive difference, your starter pack. And this is how you get into it. Now, on my videos, there is a referral code, and you want to jot that down because you definitely want to grab this alpha with a referral code, because it's going to give you 5,000 extra credits for your in-game, and it's 5,000 credits to begin straight away with, but it's also 5,000 credits that will stay with you when the game comes out. So you'll actually have 5,000 credits, you know, straight away on the final release. Again, this final release could be years away. It could be months away. Nobody knows. So you've got your choice of two ships here, and we're going to get into this in a little bit. First off, I want to show you the universe. So if coming to the, you know, the sort of main page, you click the universe and scroll down until you see the arc star map. Okay, and you want to click on this, and you want to start this up. Okay. There's something I want to show you. So you want to discover the star map, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it in windowed mode for you. So this is the complete star map of Star Citizen. And when I first looked at this, I thought, wow, that's a lot. And then I noticed Vega, Sol, that's our solar system. Oh my gosh, you can explore the solar system. We can, I guess we start on planet Earth, do we? Oh my gosh. Actually, no, none of this is in the game. None of this is playable in the game. Our soul is far from being in the game. None of that is there. In fact, none of these star systems, which is what they are in the game, except one of these. Okay, the only one that is the game at the moment, or it is the alpha at the moment, is one called Stanton, and I'm trying to find it and I can't. It's here somewhere. Stanton is here. Now this is the only system, the star system, that you can actually go inside and have a play with, okay? Now, for the future, either this year, they may introduce a new one, but also future star systems will be included. What you saw is that is what they are aiming to have either at final launch or thereafter with future updates. It's their roadmap ahead, basically. It's what they're trying to build. At the moment, you've only got this one, and you might think, oh, you only got one, that's a bit rubbish. This is massive. The amount of space that is within this alpha is mind-bogglingly crazy. It's actually a 1-to-1 representation of this solar system. If the Stanton system exists in real life or not, I do not know, but everything on here is real size according to the human scale. So how tall a person is compared to how, you know, big a car is, to a bus, to a house, to a planet. It's all real one for one as it is in our universe. So if we were to go to one of these planets, this is the Stanton solar system with a star, and we go to Microtech, which is one of the planets, you know, everything on here is as it should be, like in terms of the size, you know. It's massive. You literally could walk all around this planet if you wanted to. It would take you absolutely years if you did that, because this planet is it's very big. Probably not as big as Earth, I'd say, but it is still very big. And the moons as well, you can land on any one of these moons, and again, you could walk around it completely. There are cities on this moon, or on these planets. There are bases, there are habitats. Totally everything is explorable, and that is really what is ace about this. And that is the one system out of all of these systems. So eventually you will get to play all of these when they develop them, but for the time being we've just got the Stanton system. So don't be in an illusion when you come to this thinking, oh my gosh, all these are available. Oh, do I just pick one and I go play? No. You start in Stanton, and for now it's just Stanton. They are, I believe the next one they're working on is Pyro, and in fact if you go into the Stanton system, one thing I found recently is that there is a jump point to Pyro just here, which looks like a wormhole to the Pyro system. When this becomes active, I do not know. I haven't even gone and checked this in the actual game itself to see where it sits in the game, if it is actually there, but it is something I definitely want to do, and luckily I have the coordinates up here to help me do that, so I'll do that in a future video. So coming back to the main website here, if you click a link in my video, you come to this page. You have a choice of ships. So which one do you choose? Well, ask yourself, what kind of gamer are you? Are you a combat, fighter ready type of person? Or are you an exploration, I just want a peaceful type of game player? So the Aurora is that exploration ship that you could play with. The Mustang is more combat ready with turret guns and shieldings. Either one, it's going to be £43, or I believe it's $50, $60. I personally choose the Aurora pack. Now, what do you get with this pack? You get 3 months insurance on the ship, which, trust me, you will want a lifetime insurance on it, on every one of your ships. You will get 1,000 credits to start with in the game, which when you combine that with the 5,000 you get from my link, you will have 6,000 credits when you begin the game. And not only will you have 6,000 credits when you begin the alpha, but you keep this 6,000 when you actually get into the final build. It kind of like resets itself back. So you will still have that 6,000. You also get a self-landing hangar, which we will show you later on. And you get your spaceship, the Aurora MR, as well as a Star Citizen digital download. So when you select this pack, you can scroll down. Now, Squadron 42. This is an optional extra, okay? If you were to buy this now, it would only cost you $19.20. I believe it's $25. If you decide not to buy this now, and you decide, oh, actually, I want to get this because my mates are playing it, for whatever reason, you want to get it later, it's actually going to cost you £43, or I think it's $55. It's worth getting this now, even if you don't plan on playing it, just because you have it then, if you do want to get into some single player Call of Duty style gameplay. And that's what basically this is. This is a single player campaign with high profile actors such as Henry Cavill, Scully from X-Files, there are a whole Gary Oldman, there are a whole Mark Hamill, there are a whole heap of actors and actresses who have gone into this. In fact, Henry Cavill requested if he could be put into this because he's a major fan of the game. You might even come across him on your travels. This type of game is a massive multiplayer online game that is always live and it's always evolving. You exit out, the universe still carries on with adventures, stories. The game does not pause. It is an ever-changing universe, and when you come back into it, you pick up directly where you left off. So this is a separate game, as it were, to the alpha. This one is actually a fully fledged game, so you couldn't have it as an option as an extra. I didn't. I chose not to. I'm not really into this type of game. I'm more of a sandbox, do what you want type of game, and that's something we're going to get into with what is available, what is possible with your alpha testing. Now, one thing to note before you go and check out and buy is you want to quickly click the account button at the top, and you want to enlist. Now, there will be a button that it'll actually say create account, and it'll have a little enlist button, and when you click enlist, it will slide across to this section here, and you basically just fill out your account name, your email. You create basically an account, and you put your code or your referral code from my page here to get your 5,000 credits and enlist. You want to do this before you get your ship, because you want to have an account already assigned to you before you get your ship. So when you're ready to buy, you can come down, check out and buy, and you will log in to your actual account to make the purchase. Now, what you're looking to get in terms of how do I get into the game, you're looking to actually get this, the RSI setup. At the moment, it's 1.4.3. In fact, the game itself right now is the alpha 3.9. The 3.10 is just around the corner. So when you watch this, it could be 3.10 or it could be 3.11 or beyond. But this is what you want. Now, if you haven't purchased a startup ship and you've somehow grabbed this download, by all means, install it. You will not get into the game, though, unless you already have a ship on your account. The website account that you create is like a live cloud saved, linked account to the game. So everything that you do comes onto this website's account, and your ships are kind of almost generated based on what you have in your account. So if it's not in your account on the website, it won't be in the game. There is no way to download ships either locally to your hard drive. It's all downloaded from the main server based upon your website account. So if you've bought it, it's in the game. If you haven't bought it, you ain't going to be able to just suddenly keep it stored on your PC and fly it whenever you want. But I'll get into a little something later on. There are ways to get ships that you have not purchased. Again, get into that later on. So you want to install this. Once you've installed this and you go through to the basic, clicking OK, I advise you to restart your PC. Make sure Windows is fully up to date and ensure your graphics card driver is fully up to date. Okay, so we're back to this now, and we have actually purchased the game. We are on the live version of this. If you actually get a subscription to Star Citizen and you pay either £10 or £20 a month, not only will you get to trial out a very brand new ship for yourself every single month, you keep it for 1 month, you can use it for whatever, and then it gets deleted off your account and you get a new one the next month. Which is a real handy way to do some jobs. You also get a lot more extras and benefits and features, but you also get invited to try out the PTU, which is the basically the alpha to the alpha. It's what people are. It's the universe. Like, they've updated it to say 3.10 or 3.11. They've put a lot of new features in. They allow a few testers to trial it out, but then they roll it out to the main band of people who are trying the alpha. If you do have it, it will become, it will say under here PTU. So you can literally choose which one you wish to launch into. At the moment, I am a subscriber, but I have not had an invite yet to the PTU. It's done on invitation only. I imagine next month I will have an option here that says PTU. And the benefit of having the PTU, even though it's a lot buggier, is that you get access to ships and features before they launch in the game. You kind of get used to see how they are, but you also have to feed back a lot more than you would. Remember, you're not playing a game, you're testing a game. There were, back in the day, there would be professional testers for this who were like a game tester. You know, I studied a game design course back in 2007 for specifically game design, and a part of that is you have to learn the process of what a game goes through from start to finish, and one of them is the testing phase. There's actually 2 testing phases that a game goes through, and I'm not talking about alpha or beta. That's just 2 aspects of one of the phases. The other is a quality assurance, and that is the final stage a game goes through before it's actually launched into the public arena. So you have your alpha stage, you have your beta stage, and that's your initial test round, and then it will go into the quality control, which is your final stage, and then it'll get launched soon after that. These days, alphas are invitations out to the public where the public can trial the game before they buy it. It's not really an alpha testing as it used to be, say, back in the 90s or 80s or early 2000s. It's really a check out the game a little bit earlier, put up with a few bugs, but we'll sort them out. And, you know, the money that you pledge towards getting that alpha really just goes towards the marketing of the launch of the game, so even more people can get hold of it. The money that you're pledging to purchase with this game, which you're not buying the game, okay? You do not own Star Citizen just because you've bought a starter pack. You are giving money to the developer to allow you access to the alpha to try out. You're pledging your support towards the developers in the alpha, then more so than purchasing a game to keep. And that's where I think a lot of people make the mistake of, they believe that they own this game, that what they're doing within the game, their ships, is theirs. That's just simply not true. Okay, now the ships you buy with your own money, with real live currency, you will carry forth into the final build of the game. That has been stated. But the ships that you earn within the game itself, or within the alpha, sorry, is by no means yours. Like, it's up to the developer's discretion if you are allowed to carry that forth into the beta, into the final build. That's at the discretion of the developers. That's not a given. A lot of people assume that that's a given to them. If the developer has already announced that that will happen, that's up to the developer. But don't expect that whatever you work towards in this alpha is by rights yours to keep or will be carried forward. Remember, you're testing an alpha product. You're not playing a game. So let's launch. I mean, really, this should say launch alpha, really, not game. This is part of the why it's so confusing for people to get into this. This is why it's highly confusing as well if you've even worked in the game industry, because it's being treated like a final game, but it's an alpha state release. They're developing new content rather than fixing old bugs. It's super confusing, and there seems to be a real big focus on ships. Now, that may be because they're in like the ship cycle of their development and they're just trying to get volume out, as opposed to actually fixing the main base of the game itself, which I'm sure they are doing at the same time. But this is basically the main menu that you'll see when you launch and have downloaded the game and you're in it. And there are 2 areas here which you can go in. They're kind of like single player add-ons which come free when you have purchased or pledged your support for the actual universe. This is going to be probably though where your main focus is going into it. But you also can go into Star Marine and Arena Commander. Again, these are basically single player. There are multiplayer versions though as well that you can basically practice and hone your skills in. They're more Call of Duty based or combat based, as of course you can imagine Star Marine, Arena Commander. If you have no interest like me in combat, I mean, I just go straight into the universe. But first, we're going to go into the options tab, because this is basically where you're going to configure every part of your game. And I highly recommend to start with the graphics, okay? Now, when setting these, you might go, ooh, quality, let's put that up to its highest, which looks like it's very high. You want to be careful. The higher the quality rating, the more pressure that is putting on your PC. And I'm going to go into in the next video, because this one's far too long, the settings that I've made on my PC for smooth gameplay, okay? And that's the most important thing when you're deciding what quality factor is. You want your gameplay to be smooth and not stuttery. You know, you don't want a stuttery or laggy experience that is coming from your hardware as opposed to the servers of the alpha itself, which that can happen even with the best computers. You will still experience lags and stutters, and that's just because this game is actually on a server and you're playing it from that server. It's not installed really onto your PC, although aspects are. It's about a 60 gig installation on your PC. But for what you will see when you get into the game, you will go, wow, that's nothing. When you think the likes of, say, Call of Duty is 100 gig and, you know, it has a single player campaign stored as well as the multiplayer online maps. But yeah, this is, I cannot praise this alpha, let alone the final release, enough. It is so gorgeous to look at. But the quality level, you want to set this at a level that your PC will allow you to have a smooth experience, a non-laggy experience. Now, a lot of people strive to get 60 frames a second or 120 frames or 144 frames. I don't really know why. It's a bit weird, and I'm going to talk about the quality of graphics and what is acceptable for you with any game in the next video. But just remember, this quality level is dependent on your hardware and also the monitor you're carrying. Okay, if you set this too high, you're going to find that your PC is really struggling to keep up displaying this alpha. If you set it too low, well, you're not going to get to see all the benefits of the gorgeous graphics. So finding the right level is so important, and it's not something you really don't want to skimp on. I have also personally found that full screen works better than windowed, which is not true sometimes of other games, but that's what I found with this one. And I've set this personally to 85. I don't know why it's 86 now, but personally this was set to 85. The higher you set this, the wider your angle of view. Just remember, you know, humans field of view is actually 55 degrees. That is all. So this is actually wider than a human's vision, which is a bit weird, but yeah, I set this to basically its lowest amount always, and the higher this is set, the harder your PC has to work because there's more in the field of view. Same with motion blur. The more, you know, if you turn this off, you'll actually see a decrease in sort of graphical, you know, interface, but also an increase in performance. I actually have it set to camera and object motion blur because I have quite a good PC and I can get away with that. VSync I turn on. I find that works best. Don't want full screen windowed, and I add a little bit of sharpening to my thingy, to my alpha, not too much, but full chromatic aberration and film grain. Now these are the settings I get away with my PC, which again in the next video I will go through my graphics card, my CPU, my memory, and all the Nvidia settings that you'll want to set. Stay tuned in for part 2. Thank you for watching this one, and I'll see you in the verse.